Hello, everyone, and today we're going to talk about protecting your digital self. The internet has brought the world's knowledge to our fingertips. It's brought us closer together through social media and made shopping a breeze with stores that sell everything, like Amazon. These great conveniences have led us to giving more and more of our information about ourselves online. Uh, that information is quite valuable to advertisers that want us to buy our products. But it's also valuable to attackers that would want to exploit that information and use it for their own gain. So we're going to look at how you can protect yourself. First thing we're going to look at is privacy. The main way companies like Google make their money is by selling advertising. The better they can target those ads, the more money they can make. So if I want to advertise something, and let's say I want to sell my product to 18 to 30-year-old males in the Midwest, I could buy an ad on TV, but I can't guarantee that my target market is going to see it. If I put an ad online, I can tell someone like Google, hey, I want this ad to only be seen by this market, and Google can say, okay, yeah, we're gonna through our data, we can make sure that demographic is who we show your ad to, and no one else. The way Google and ad companies do this is by building a profile on everyone. It's not based on name; it's private, but it's more kind of like based on browser. So, if I'm online and I'm on there with my browser, they know that I'm a 30-year-old male on the West Coast, and they have an idea of what news sites I like to read, what my interests are, and they can use all of that data to target ads to me that are going to be something that I'm more likely to be interested in. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is social networks. It's not just big ad networks that do this type of tracking. Google's one of the biggest, but another one that's quite large is Facebook, believe it or not. We give a lot of information to Facebook voluntarily. We tell them where we went to school, where we grew up, our hometown. We share pictures with them. These are all things that Facebook can mine for data on us. They can kind of go into their profile. On top of all of that, Facebook can track you around the web. The way they do that is by, like, when you go on a website and let's say you're reading a news post on the New York Times or on someone's blog, at the bottom of that post there's a link that says, hey, share this on Facebook or like this on Facebook. You don't even have to click share or like. Facebook already knows you were there. When you go to Facebook, and you log in, it puts a token, a cookie on your browser. It says, hey, this is Chris's Facebook. And then when you leave Facebook and go onto this news article, and that like button's there, that like button talks to that cookie and says, hey, this is Chris. Now they know what news articles I'm reading. That and a lot of sites have those like buttons, those social media buttons. It is a way of tracking you, and that's a way social media companies learn about their customers. They can then take that information and use that to target their ads. So on Facebook, their ads are really targeted. They can sell them to companies and make more money. So let's talk about tracking. How do advertisers know so much about you? It's similar to social networks. It has to do with cookies again. So let's kind of dive into what a cookie is. Every time you go to a website, they drop a cookie in your browser. And that cookie is saying, hey, you went to this website at this time, you were using a Mac, you were using Chrome, and that information is valuable to the person running the website, because that way they could see, hey, I had 100 people read this article. Most of them were in California and they use Macs. Cool, that's interesting stuff to know. Advertisers want to know that information too. What advertisers do is they have their own cookies baked into the ads that are on, for let's say you're reading BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed has ads on the side or on the page. Each ad has its own cookie, and that cookie, over time, builds up information and says, okay, well, Chris likes to read about, Apple news, about, Apple computer stuff, and he also really likes baking. Okay, so, it can pull that information with those cookies, and then the ads know, okay, I'm going to show Chris ads about technology and cooking. That type of querying happens really quick, in a matter of seconds, so that the proper ads are displayed on that site that target you, the viewer, directly. Cookies in general are, really, they're safe things. They're really just, there for tracking purposes. There are times when cookies can cause issues. Most sites, when they have ads, they're not selling them directly. They just sign up and say, hey, yeah, I'll put ads on my site. And then it's going through a third party that's then selling the ad space and posting the ads to the website. They check, what's going up there, but not, they can't be looking at everything. Someone could hide something in the code of their ad that tells the computer, hey, download this file in the background and install it. And that's called malware. That can cause, a lot of pop-ups on your computer. It could even be as bad as, hey, someone now has control of your computer. They can use your computer's resources to do stuff. Make your computer run slow because they're using it to, do something nefarious on the web. Or they could, put a tracker on your computer, watch all your keystrokes, get your credit card, and now they can ring up a bunch of charges. I mean, this isn't something that happens very often, but it has happened before. So that's kind of another reason to be wary of cookies and advertising. So, so next we're going to talk about ways you can protect yourself. But first, I want to explain what a browser extension is. Wikipedia defines a browser extension as a plugin that extends the functionality of a web browser in some way. So what does that mean? A browser extension is like a tool or like an application that runs in your Chrome window, your Safari window. Pretty much every browser allows extensions to be added on top of it. And it adds some functionality to the web. So, for instance, I have a browser extension that works kind of like a highlighter. Let's say I'm reading an article and I want to reference it later on. I can highlight it. It highlights with the yellow highlighter, but then it also sends that information back to my virtual notebook. Then I can kind of go through the notebook, find the quotes that I've highlighted, and then kind of read through it later on. You can also have a browser extension that does something else, like maybe your browser extension plays Pandora in the background. A browser extension really is just kind of added use to your web browsing experience. They can do a lot of different things, and they're very useful. Okay, so we are now going to look at ways you can protect yourself online. We're going to look at two different tools that can, prevent tracking. First tool we're going to talk about today is Privacy Badger. Privacy Badger is built by one of the big company, big groups, the EFF, Frontier Foundation. They are kind of a lobbying group that is all for protecting the web and keeping it safe. What their extension does is it sits on top of your browser, and every time you go on a website that has ads, and that ad tries to put cookies on your browser, it just blocks them. They can't add cookies, so the advertiser can't gain information about you and can't look up information about you. Some people would say the downside to that is that the ads you see are going to be more generic. They're not necessarily going to be ads that are directed towards you. So instead of, for instance, me seeing an ad about a new Apple computer, maybe I'll see an ad about something generic like Tide laundry detergent or something. There's pluses and minuses to that. The other thing it does is those like buttons, for social media that you see on websites, it blocks those cookies as well. So Facebook doesn't know what you were looking at on Amazon or what articles you were reading. That's pretty much what it does. The other tool we're talking about here is called the uBlock. What uBlock does is it blocks ads altogether. The main reason why I would do that is because, there is that small chance that the ad could have malware on it. uBlock just stops that from even loading. So you don't have to worry about that as an issue. One of the benefits of that is you don't see ads anymore. It's just kind of blank space on the web page. So like Yahoo.com is really big into this. They'll put ads that kind of take over your entire page, make it really hard to read what's going on. This stops all of that from happening. It's a pretty good tool, but it does stop you from supporting the sites that you like. So you got to take that into account. Okay, so while we're talking about security here, I want to talk about account security. As you can see from the graph, we give out a lot of information about ourselves online. Some of it we're giving out publicly, like I know I have photos of online publicly, and my birth date is probably out there too. Other things we give out privately, but in the end, it's all kind of out there. A lot of it's kind of locked into accounts. How do we protect those accounts? One of the ways that a lot of people, I'm sure, know is using a different password for every site. That is a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to remember. It's very easy to just fall back on using the same password for every site. I am in a moment going to talk to you about a tool that helps that. Now looking at two different tools that you can use to protect your accounts online. The first tool we are looking at here is called LastPass. LastPass is a security vault. Kind of think about if you were to, kind of have a notebook and you wrote down all of your passwords in that notebook. This is kind of that, but digital. But it kind of takes it to an extreme. What if that book was locked inside of a safe and you had to enter a password to get into that book every time? That's what LastPass is. It's a password vault that kind of sits in your web browser or like in your iPhone, your iPad, or something like that, and can store the passwords for every single website. But it doesn't just do that. You can also come up with passwords. So let's say you're logging into your Microsoft account and you need to come up with a password that's 8 characters long, has a capital letter, some numbers, some special characters. Well, you can't come up with a password. You just can't think of anything. LastPass is an auto-generate feature where you can feed in that information, say, hey, it needs to be 8 characters long, or you know what, hey, make it 20 characters long. It doesn't matter. And it'll come up with randomly generated numbers with capitals and special characters, and it will stick that in your Microsoft account. It won't just do that, but it'll also save that password into your LastPass vault. Then you don't have to remember that password. LastPass remembers that password for you. And the way you log into your LastPass is you would have to come up with one super secure password. One password that's over 8 characters long. So I would recommend something like 12 to 16 characters long with a mixture of capitals, um, special characters, and numbers in there. So you've only got to remember this one strong password, but then after that, LastPass remembers everything. LastPass even has a tool that over time, let's say you've taught LastPass, a couple hundred passwords, and there's a chunk of them in there that are ones that you had created yourself that are um, the same password, or they're not very secure. LastPass is what they call a security audit, and they'll tell you, hey, these 5 websites, these 10 websites have the same password. You should really change them. Or these 15 websites were involved in a hack recently. Or, these passwords aren't very secure. LastPass even has tools that will attempt to automatically change those passwords for you and reset them to, LastPass, randomized secure passwords. It's a very good, safe tool that I recommend strongly for password management and keeping your account safe. Uh, the other tool we're going to talk about is something called two-factor authentication. A lot of websites are enabling this two-factor tool, and what this is let's say you're logging into your Gmail. Um, a lot of sites use Google's Authenticator tool. What it is it's an app or a hardware tool, like a random code generator that you would have. Most of the time, it's like an iPhone, Android app that has this random 6-digit code that changes every 60 seconds. What you do is you tell your phone, I want to start a new service, and you start one thing, with Gmail or LastPass or any of these, YouTube, any of these services, Twitter. Um, you tell it the 6-digit code, you tell it which authenticator app you're using. So in my case, it would be the Google Authenticator app. Once I've done that, I enter the 6-digit code. The website, like Gmail, kind of syncs up and says, okay, I know what this algorithm is. I know what the 6-digit code is now. I know it'll be into eternity. So then your phone is running that 6-digit code algorithm that changes every 60 seconds. Your Gmail account now knows the algorithm that it's using, but that algorithm is only running on your phone. It's not running on another device. It's not something someone else can guess or get access to without having your phone. So the idea is you have your username, your password needed to log into the site, but then you also have your second factor, your something you have. So your password, something you remember, your email address or username, something anyone could know, and then your 6-digit code is something that is on you, on your person, that you have to look at and re-authenticate with. Now it is kind of inconvenient to have, but it is a lot more secure than losing access to your account. Um, it is something I strongly recommend using on anything that offers the service. Another number of other services use a type of dual factor where they'll text you a code. Like Apple will do that if you want to reset your iTunes account. They can turn that function on where they'll text you a code, and that makes your account that much more secure. And the reason why you would want that is if somebody did gain access to your password through a hack, through a database breach or something like that, this would make it that much harder for them to get into your email account, your bank account, your Netflix account, your email. These are all kind of vital things, and it's insecure. Well, it's more secure to have these tools in place. It's less convenient, but it's better than losing access. So this is the reference list on the slideshow. All of these are clickable links in the doc accompanying the slideshow. Thank you very much.